When choosing a dentist for our family, Tupelo Smiles was the answer for us. They greet us with warm smiles right when we walk in the door, and they make us feel so welcome. We love Tupelo Smiles.
Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Well, hello there, Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. Thank you so much for joining us for Mississippi Live Weather at 5 on what has been a really chilly evening. You know, here in the studio, tends to be fairly warm. At my studio at home, a little cold. Caleb, probably likely warm enough back there in the official room weather center. But we thank you so much for joining us after what was windy last night with the strong cold front that came through. Tonight's story is going to be the big drop in temperatures that is undoubtedly ahead. As we look ahead toward that, it's time to break those layers back out as if you didn't already have to have them this evening. We got to make sure those faucets are covered up outside tonight, because I think we're going to be down into the low 20s. That's cold enough that from time to time there could be some issues associated with that there. So a hard freeze on the way for tonight. As we look out of our camera in Tupelo, you can see not much insulation there in the background. We'll talk more about that here in a minute as we're looking at dry end to 2025 ahead with some limited rain chances eventually on the way. We're looking toward that forecast for New Year's Eve as well coming up. But this evening, look at these temperatures from 36, as you can see there at 6 p.m. We're 30 by 9, 28 by midnight, and back in the mid-20s by tomorrow morning. Listen, this is not record-setting cold. It's still pretty chilly, and wind chill's probably the biggest story. We'll look at just how far those are going to dip into the teens for many of us. That's coming up here in a couple of moments. But outside this evening, it is the lack of cloud cover and the big drop in temperatures that are the story. We're looking at 41 degrees in Macon right now. And again, appreciate the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. They have a special addition to their network tomorrow to be announced. I'll let them make that announcement. We'll talk and hopefully be able to show that for tomorrow. But this camera this evening with a beautiful shot there of the leftover light hitting those high clouds in Macon, feeling like those temperatures are in the mid-30s. Greenville reporting station there, taking the day off. But the camera is not just beautiful shot there. Again, sun below above the horizon in Greenville versus below it in Macon. That difference, again, west, it sets a little bit later in the western part of the state. That's why that's still up at this point in time there. But again, just the glow, the afterglow there in Aberdeen. Feels like 31 degrees right now. Has not been a day that's felt warm at all. And you can see that camera still kind of bouncing around a little bit there. Not as much as it did with the wind and the wind damage that we had yesterday evening. Looking at Mama Justice Doppler radar again. This a new addition here. If you've been watching us Mississippi Live Weather, we've referred to this as Mississippi Live Weather Radar. Well, Mama Justice is stepping up to help us sponsor on Mississippi Live Weather. We appreciate them for doing that. So helping us to bring you this amazing technology. And just, support those folks that support us here on Mississippi Live Weather, room to room. Tupelo Smiles, you saw a minute ago there, absolute cleaning restoration among many, many others. But no precipitation out there to track on any of the technology this evening, and very few clouds even kind of on the closer in shot. We go wider. You can see some of the higher variety clouds down to the south. High pressure largely is the story. And with this very cold core system, even though not a ton of moisture is really coming from this, as you can see, we do have quite a bit of snowfall closer to the center of this upper level system for locations back out there into the northeastern United States. So that is obviously the cold air that's largely taken over our forecast across much of the region. Let's go on the wider shot here. Look at the entire lower 48. And again, this big ridge of high pressure that came with this blast of cold air is the story continuing to settle in. There's not a whole lot of changes back to north and west. You don't really see any significant fronts back that direction there. The next one we have all the way up in Canada, so not going to see a big change of pace as far as any of that is concerned really anytime soon. So looking ahead at our future cast over the course of this evening, again, most of the thicker clouds down south. We do have a few high clouds back up into Kentucky, and some snowfall up that direction there. But 10 p.m. through midnight tonight, not much. Now, again, with those temperatures continuing to drop, it will be pretty chilly. And one thing I will note, occasionally when we get these northerly winds, some of these clouds we have here don't really kind of prove to be very impressive. We will see if we're able to see any kind of insulation from this overnight. Ultimately, though, for most of us, it's a very, very chilly overnight. And by tomorrow morning, we expect those lows are going to be down deep enough into the low 20s that you'll want to do something to obviously bundle yourself up. But look at those north winds. That means there will be a wind chill down in the teens for many spots. We're to be 28 still, probably wind chills in the low 20s, if not teens, by even 9 a.m., with high temperatures only into the lower 40s. A lot of sunshine on the way for tomorrow, and we'll keep those clearer conditions looking toward midweek. Coming up here in about 60 seconds, we'll be looking in more detail at that forecast for New Year's Eve and just how cold those temperatures are going to be for how long as Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center in 60 seconds right after this.
The number one reason insurance denies roof claims, it's not what you think. Insurance companies aren't denying your claim because you don't have damage. They're denying it because they don't have documentation. This is why we use drones, AI technology, satellite imagery, and just good old roofing experience to document everything that might be wrong with your roof. You as a homeowner need a roofer with documentation standards. Call Absolute Restoration. Let us come and inspect, document, and present.
As a bankruptcy firm, Mitchell, Cunningham & Bowling realizes many people are worried about their finances. We're here to guide you through the next steps to restart your life with easy video appointments. New clients don't have to leave home to get information about becoming debt-free. Also, convenient in-office appointments are available at the low cost of $340 upfront for a Chapter 13. You can be on your way to being debt-free. Contact Mitchell, Cunningham & Bowling today or visit our website at mcdebtfree.com. We are here to help you.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lovehon.
Well, welcome back here to Mississippi Live Weather at 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. 37 degrees with that sun now just below the horizon out there in Clarksdale. Thank you so much for watching us here all across North Mississippi as we continue to look at what is a cool forecast next couple days here from the mobile room-to-room weather center here. As we look out and about, it is not just Clarksdale, it's pretty much everybody down there in the 30s right now. You saw a commercial there from Mitchell, Cunningham & Bowling during the break. They also sponsor our Tower Cam in the Tupelo area, where, of course, that sun's been down a little bit longer. Not much in the way of cloud cover, but still just a little bit of back and forth movement on those north winds. Feels like 29. But the number I want to point out on this as well is that dew point, that measure of moisture coming in at 16, tells you that the air is pretty dry. And we can always say on a clear night, if you could calm the winds down completely, that's a theoretical low temperature. We're not going to calm the winds down completely, so we're not going to get as cold as that. But certainly it is going to be pretty chilly for tonight. And that is obviously a cold forecast that's already developing. Mississippi Live Weather Radar brought to you by Mama Justice, again, in the clear at this time. This may be one of the bigger weather stories. That drop in temperatures over the last 24 hours, as you can see down in some cases almost 40 degrees there in Senatobia, South Haven, Holly Springs. Colder than we were yesterday at this time. That's a huge temperature change, and obviously making it feel very, very cold. It's something obviously everybody has dealt with for today, and we have just another really, really chilly night on the way associated with this. So there, as you can see, our forecast temperature change there. Your no school day forecast for tomorrow. Countdown to sanity as we look ahead toward this. Only a few more days before school begins back for the kiddos there. So a little more than 5 days or so, looking toward, again, the beginning temperature, beginning of that time there as everyone kind of heads back. But tomorrow, it is an inside insanity kind of day. Certainly our kids are bouncing off the walls today. I'm sure yours probably were as well. Appreciate IMPC for sponsoring our no school day forecast there. So tonight, north winds, again, keeping us pretty chilly, and we just don't have any insulation. And so those temperatures, as a result, are going to drop very effectively through the 20s, and maybe even for a few spots up there into Tennessee, just to the north of us. It's not inconceivable we could have some teens. I think we have maybe just enough cloud cover here to keep our temperatures from getting quite as cold as that, but certainly we're going to be within striking distance of that for early tomorrow morning, again, under these mostly clear skies to begin the day. Checking out those temperatures. Let's see there if I can pop that ahead toward that for a moment. for early tomorrow morning. We're looking at somewhere around the 21, we'll say, in Water Valley and Oxford and Corinth. Yeah, I went 21 on a lot of locations on there. Takeaway being, it's not inconceivable that if you go completely clear, that we could have maybe some outlying areas, northern Tippah County, Alcorn, or Tishomingo County, that do possibly touch the upper teens for early tomorrow morning. This is not record cold, though. As you can see, record on the books is about 7 degrees, and 35 is our normal. So this is a lot closer to what we expect for this time of year than where we have been recently. I think I skipped over wind chill temperatures, so we're going to remedy that here for a moment. We're going to add that back in. Let's go back and check out those wind chill temperatures for tomorrow morning. Coming in 18 in Senatobia, 17 in Oxford, 15 in Holly Springs and Boonville. And it's kind of an inverse thing there. If we get the winds completely calm, these temperatures for wind chills will probably be about the exact same, because if we go completely calm, as we talked about, that low temperature can go that extra bit lower. So really chilly to begin tomorrow morning. And those northwest winds, while not as windy as they were for today, do continue to keep conditions cool as we go throughout the day under, again, mostly clear skies even through noontime and into the afternoon period. We kind of referenced this a minute ago. Again, high pressure is largely the story coming out of Canada. This is very dry air, and so we don't typically expect any precipitation when we get a system like this to come through, and clearly we're not going to this time around as well. High temperatures on your Tuesday, not particularly high. Normal's 53. That's our 30-year average. So, yeah, we're cold. A lot colder than that for South Haven at 39, 38, Corinth, Boonville, and Iuka, about 42, Houston, 43 for Eupora and Louisville. But about 10 to 12 degrees below our 30-year average for this time of year for some of those spots. Okay, so as we look ahead here, for whatever reason, I might need to replace the battery in my little clicker. So let me try this here. Click. That's working. That's interesting. Well, I'll just stay closer to that just in case we need it. As you can see here, clear and mostly dry conditions continue into your Tuesday night as well. Again, looking around the regions, not a lot of changes. We have a little clipper system kind of moving out here through the Midwest locations back that direction, and obviously some snow that way. But as you're looking for our area, again, it's the same story, different verse for early morning on your Wednesday there, as we should be mostly clear, should be dry. And so that means, again, we should be pretty chilly to begin the day as well, with those low temperatures by early morning on your Wednesday there, getting down into the mid-20s. So maybe not quite as cold as tomorrow morning got, but still fairly chilly out there and well below our normal for this time of year, about 10 degrees below that value. Wind chills, still cold, but as you can see, the coldest morning will be your Tuesday morning, with conditions getting slightly more mild. Still cold enough by early Wednesday morning. Wednesday, we're mostly clear here through midday, and as you can see, into the afternoon. There's no real big weather makers outside of this high that we have down there toward Texas, and this is still the same dry air that's come through today, just taking another day to get a little milder and more mild over the next few days. We don't really show any big changes, no big precipitation there. So as you wrap up 2025 and head toward 2026, no big differences over the next couple of days, but it's just a gradual, I think, increase in temperatures as a result, because we don't have a big changer maker coming into the area. So low 50s out there, Senatobia and Oxford. Again, this is where we should be, still fairly cool, but milder as we go toward Wednesday. 54 degrees Eupora, 55 for Kosciuszko, 53 there for locations around Louisville. And that forecast for New Year's Eve, again, stroke of midnight there as we head into 2026. Expecting those temperatures to be in the upper 30s. So not warm if you're going to come to downtown Tupelo for their big celebration there, or anything that you might be doing in and around with your family and friends. You're definitely going to want to try to find a way to stay a little bit warmer, but this is not as cold as if it were tonight. So, I mean, New Year's as always has that risk of being fairly chilly, and this one will qualify as chilly, just not as extreme, thankfully, as the last couple of days have been, including tomorrow. Well, I say the last couple of days, as the next couple of days will be, because again, looking toward tomorrow morning there, we're down into the low 20s with 41 degrees for that high temperature. We're at 53 by Wednesday, 58 as we look toward Thursday, and then mid-50s by Friday. We are, of course, looking ahead toward the forecast for your SEC football games. I know everybody's excited about the bowl games, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, as well as Alabama. Some big games coming up. I guess I should throw Georgia in the mix there since they're on that list of the four. But we'll have those forecasts for you coming up during our 6 o'clock broadcast. But around here, if you're planning on sticking in across North Mississippi, limited rain chances do start to come back by Friday and Saturday. I'm not terribly impressed by what we're looking at, and we will dig a lot more into that with our meteorologist, Caleb Edelblut, during our 6 o'clock broadcast as well. But at least we're milder as we go throughout the next couple of days. I mean, come on. Tomorrow morning, cold enough that I do want to let you know that our friends at Absolute Cleaning and Restoration, that do kind of partner with us here on Mississippi Live Weather, are going to try to help out some folks to get some faucet covers on there in the next couple of days. If you have not had a chance to do that, I believe they put out a little bit of information on that on their Facebook page. I'll have to see if I can look that up there, but certainly it's something that they're trying to do to, if you can prevent those faucets from breaking before it happens, obviously that is a much, much better deal than otherwise is the case. Our next broadcast here coming up during our 6 o'clock show, coming up there at 6 o'clock, we'll be looking at those SEC football forecasts, talking a little bit about what the games look like. Obviously, Sugar Bowl's an indoor game, so no real issues as far as that is concerned there. We'll have that here from the Room to Room Weather Center coming up at 6 p.m. Of course, also kind of looking a little bit more at some of those rainfall totals for the next week. As you would imagine, they are not terribly impressive with the limited chances we have for Friday and Saturday. More on that coming up at 6 o'clock as well. But we thank you so much for supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather, and Happy New Year as we encroach in on that holiday. We'll see you at 6.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. We knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt LawPon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt LawPon has proven himself trustworthy.